Let's go. I want to know the following. How was it? I think you mentioned a bit about what your study routine used to be like. And how is it today? Dude, these days, what purpose do you have when you pick up the instrument? You mentioned that you went a long time without studying, but you went back to it, right? Especially because you started to become interested in our studies.
Today I study even now.
And what is your routine like today?
My study routine?
Study. You study every day.
No, but every day, even when I don't want to, I study every day. So I wake up early every day at 6 o'clock. I'm already up.
And what time are you already practicing?
7 o'clock. Sometimes I allow myself the luxury of starting to study in the afternoon too. Sometimes, with some things happening, I go to study in the morning, but usually I start studying in the afternoon, even though I wake up early. But in the morning, what is your routine? My routine is taking care of my little birds and looking after my dog. Well, I want to spend the whole day with him tomorrow, giving him attention and playing with him. And God steps out a little, so my priority, no, it's not too nice.
I'm not no Our Lady, but he gives a name there. Look, our friend Neymar, when he travels, I don't see those things about him. He won't stay. Yeah, he stayed here at the hotel, right next door. He got a hotel that had a view.
What do you think, in your opinion, about his workout? Is it good?
Okay, I think he's good, perhaps. I think nay 50 or nay.
I don't know, it's something like that, but do you think it's getting good?
I think you can talk better. I don't know. You're the one talking about the gym.
We're getting to know the other side of Mateus Starling.
You're the one talking about the pokes. I don't know, right?
Mateus Starling, right. So I wake up. In the morning, I spend time with my dog, I hang out with my little birds, and that's it. That's my thing. Then after from 1 in the afternoon until the evening, I stay 5-6 hours studying. I study 5-6 hours every day, even today. Sunday too, Saturday too, I also study all the time. Study.
What time do you teach?
I give my website, right?
No, you don't give private lessons, right?
I must have about 5 students just. So I started teaching again. It's been about 2-3 months, because I spent 8 years just on my website, and I felt the desire to have contact with the students again. It's really cool, man.
He makes friends. He imitates really well, right, man? Only inside the house studio.
Yeah. So I started teaching again. And I took on a pretty light schedule. So today I think we talked about having about 5 students, and I don't want more than that either. So sometimes a student leaves, I open a spot for another student to come in, and that's how it goes. I can give very personalized attention to my students. So if my student comes and says, oh, I can't make it to class, I can reschedule the lesson, Without that thing, you can't reschedule. It doesn't leave things very relaxed. So I do live sessions for the students. So if a student has a question, I open a live stream on YouTube. For him, the student comes like this. Gustavo, I have a question here these days. A student came to me, Roberto, he lives outside of Brazil. He said, man, I have a question here about typing. Man, I even opened a live just for him, which is unlisted, right? I sent it to him. I was live. I was clarifying the question. So I can give special attention to my students. That's why I have few of them, and I work with the courses, right? And then I understood. So since I have few students, I don't know, 2 students a day, 1 student here.
So you have a ton of time to study, and what have you been studying? This week, for example, what did you study this week? Technique. It's always about studying technique.
Rock and roll technique, my sweep. Always studying 2 hands. I like to do some different 2-hand techniques, right? And studying jazz. I study technique, right? Then I put that into rock and basically study jazz progressions. Improvisation, scales, phrasing, the approaches, and how do you study those things?
For example, do you transcribe phrasing by ear? Yes.
What is improvisation like for you? That's it. I study technique, let's say. I always go through everything. Everything I do, I go through it in 12 keys. For me, this is a rule. So I actually begin my study, it in fact begins off being too beginner like that.
But did you study in 2 keys, or was it after you started studying jazz?
I've been doing this for about 10 years. Yeah. I start there. Family of tetrachords. So all of them, right? seventh major, augmented fifth. So it goes
What, in chord or arpeggio?
in arpeggio, okay? And I stay there, and also the chords. But using fish, space, every seventh of the major step is the major seventh, augmented fifth. So the dominant of a dominant with an augmented fifth, with a minor seventh, with a major seventh, 12 keys, scales. Major. 12 keys, 5 regions, first region, second, third, fourth, fifth region. You study there in 12 keys, just up here, right. C, F, B flat, E flat. Having a static region, right? And I study one thing. I don't know if you do it this way, that when you use either a metronome or with some harmony, let's say, you're studying the scale. I'm just studying. I'm not improvising. And when I use the metronome, sometimes it doesn't work. Always in my head, the notes, right? So when you're in a C scale, you go to the F scale, major. And you're on the second string. So I continue the F scale starting from the second string. Then I'm doing that. After that flat, it stopped there on the fourth string, starting from the fourth string, always looking for the tonic, always a constant line. I do this with arpeggios, I do this with scales, then I do this with melodic minor, with harmonic minor, and then I only study that part. So it's no longer possible to study in 12 keys, but one already works. And 3 already resolves, right? Whole tones. 2, right. 2 already resolves, right? So then more space, whole tones with different fingerings, right?
What also happens is with my diminished, the same diminished, diminished, diminished. That's also because it's from email A. There's a name for this, which is symmetric. And there are a few other symmetric scales, right? Which, by the way, is the method of that. I forgot. The name here, this one, that has 3, right? 3 scales, right? There are three. It's all whole tones, really. It doesn't change. It's one tone. If you change even the C scale, all whole tones, and C sharp, just C, it's now. Exactly. Right? Man, this type of study that you're talking about, I think it's what I go through with my guitar too. Same thing with the pentatonic static region, 12 keys.
Because that's where you have freedom. I can study this quickly, but so it's with the light of the universe, these pentatonic tonics. I really like pentatonic, yeah. The basic study really goes up and down the pentatonic. I also study 12 by regions. I really like pentatonic, 3 notes per string, and I really enjoy using pentatonic sweep. So if she's playing to stay, she doesn't even know that the pentatonic really deserves special attention because it opens up too much like that. So she ends up using it with everything, right? String skipping, all that. Sometimes I get fed up, so when I do, I just improvise. So when I get fed up, I just watch. The Starling Cast is...
Did you see the episode with Ney Pionero?
And I saw a part of it, but I didn't see it all. I didn't see it completely. But you know what I really enjoy? Sometimes studying when it's mechanical. Sometimes I just watch.
I watched the video on YouTube too. Just
when it's mechanical.
I don't have to think about what you watch. That isn't related.
I like economics. Investments.
How cool these things are in this area. Then the specific guy.
Fernando. Today I keep looking at the cars. It's the names of the guys, but I want to know fixed income investment, such as prefixed, post-fixed, and stocks. I don't invest, but I like it. I like those little things.
Macroeconomics, those things, or is fixed income more interesting?
I like it. This way, it's what I know how to do a little bit, and I want to know, because then sometimes the bank manager keeps talking to me about some things, and I have to stay tuned in.
I want to know about the Selic rate. Do you want to leave the money idle, or do you want to make an investment?
Yeah, the Selic rate, those things, crazy, right?
I also love this topic, so I keep studying.
You have to study 12 tones of that scale, then you set the metronome, and the guy is talking about the Selic rate.
I'm really into these things. And let me ask you a question about the metronome since you like it. Do you also practice with the metronome inverted or just in the regular way? In the metronome, going 3? Or do you study in a fun way on 2 and 4? It's what jazz language is, right?
So everything invested is also nice, right?
I understood the day in both ways. Or
when I'm improvising, I lean more towards the part of 2 and 4 because I'm doing jazz, right?
And it's funny, because in jazz, it's a way of keeping one of the three. But this here is gospel. There's also that, right? American gospel back in the 1940s was all like that. There's even actually a video of a guy from a gospel choir really just talking about how in the white church it's all 1, 2, 3, 4, while we have to keep it as 1 of 3, 4. It's the yes of jazz, right? It's because they call it swing jazz, but the gospel guys will say it's gospel swing.
Yes, everyone is going to defend your line. So do you still study, Mateus?
Study.
Every day?
Every day too. I don't study that much time, man. I don't have all those hours.
You're already on another level, right?
You're already on another level because, man, I definitely wish I could, right?
He felt a bit awkward.
Dude, I really don't have 5-6 hours to study, but you don't need it either, right? That's it, man. You don't need that, right? You don't need to. I would really like to have all that time to study, but another really nice phase is that I'm composing my album. Look how cool. So, I stopped studying other things to focus only on the album composition. I've been a good while without recording since 2018. Who knows? Maybe you'll get excited too. Yes, of course. I'm telling you, it's not about thinking of the financial return from the album. I think it's a lot to keep things moving. Yes, of course. And I also think that, in a way, it keeps the flame alive. We need this. As a musician, we need to be having fun, because the moment it becomes an obligation, yes, you don't study 5-6 hours a day because it's an obligation. You also find pleasure in that. It's something that
But here's the thing, Mateus. I live off music, right? So it's kind of like I have to. It's my profession. And it's like, maybe the word is a bit strong, but it's an obligation. That's right. Because it's my job. And when I teach, and especially when I'm working with live classes, I've done mentoring too. Now and then I do it. I close a class. So I have to be really good. Very well, technically. I can't just play a video and go, oh, sorry, I messed up. Oh, I don't know what. I have to always be there. That's the respect I have for my students, for the people who watch me. So it ends up like this. It's not that it's enjoyable. Do you say you like studying this? What you mentioned? No.
maybe not the technical, mechanical part, but you have fun, maybe studying jazz. Those things.
Me too. I have fun when I don't know, man.
I'm improvising.
I'm improvising. But when I'm studying, it's complicated, right? It's complicated. It's like going to the gym, right? I don't know if everyone will say it's nice, wonderful. For example, I go to the gym every day.
For me, the gym is definitely tough. It's hard, isn't it? A lot.
But not for me. The pain and everything else.
Sometimes you feel lazy. It's the same thing always, right?
So studying is that. So actually, it's studying to be able to deliver for my students the moment I feel good.
It's because there's a definition from a guy named James Clear who says the following, that anyone who really wants to be excellent at anything, a person has to be passionate about boredom. I find this expression interesting, which is passion for boredom.
I understand what you're saying.
What happens? There's the boredom of routine and everything, but there's also the other side. Dude, it's about falling in love with the process, not necessarily because you want to be there, but it's about where it takes you, the final result. There's a really cool book too. Do you like to read or you don't read? Do you like to read the book? I don't like it. No. Anyway, there's a book called Grit by Angela Duckworth. Duckworth, I think that's what she talks about, grit. She says, if you want to be something really relevant in life, really good, you have to have grit. And grit is passion, but passion, dude, combined with persistence, because it's not just about talent. Sometimes a person is talented but doesn't want to dedicate themselves, so they'll be surpassed by someone who is dedicated. That assertive effort, because it's not just about trying hard. It's about making an assertive effort. Because there's that guy who's hardworking but never evolves, right? Yeah, the guy's hardworking, but he never evolves because he never improves. He never wants to understand what's wrong.
Sometimes the methodology of what he's studying, or he's always studying something, it's like the students who come to me and say, oh, Gustavo, I want to be fast. But then the guy just stays there on the metro, NOMO, at 100 BPM the whole year. You have to push yourself. You have to go for it. Be more firm about it, right? So it's not the 100 BPM the whole year playing slowly that's going to help you, right?
I just wanted to sum up this conversation, which I think is really interesting, that nothing beats effort. Of course. So, like, when you watch Gustavo's videos playing, it looks like he's not even touching the guitar's neck. Or every day, 5 hours a day for real. So, that's how I'm going to be. Actually, it's not that the question is why is it good, right? But the result it brings you justifies the whole process you go through.
Man, it's like Nay and I joke around, right? But sometimes people leave comments on the videos, both on Nay's and sometimes on mine, like, wow, my dream was to play like that. But it's like, oh, what a gift you have. Wow, if I had a gift like that. But man, people don't know that the gift is 5 hours a day of practice, right?
The gift is equal to sweat. It's because, in fact, man, when we arrive like this, we see someone really good and we say something like that. Man, what a talented guy. That's a lazy response. Because in reality, we don't want to think deeper that, man, there's really nothing there other than a lot of dedication. Yeah, the guy shows up at the Olympics. Artistic gymnastics, doing a double backflip, tucked position. My brother, you can put in 5 hours a day for a year and you still won't do it. Don't do it. Because you have to spend a lot of time there. You have to be the right age. You have to have the right diet, dedication, man. Yeah. There's no lying about it. It's not like, man, this guy is talented, dude. He was born to do a double backflip, no doubt. If you don't dedicate 5-6 hours a day, it's not going to happen, man. Yes, for sure. Subject closed, isn't it? Yes, for sure.